want to start this shit off straight telling all three of y'all stop playing with my name.
Let's go on there. Let's go.
Stop playing with my fucking name.
Let's go.
Let's do it on camera.
Stop playing with my name.
Let's
I ain't
go
gonna
right
say it
on
no
there.
more. Nigga, when my name come up, respect it.
Let's go.
Stop playing with my fucking name. All three of y'all, stop playing with my name. I ain't gonna say it no more.
Hey guys, I'm talking to you guys while I'm getting dressed and I'm trying to hurry up, but this was just a message that was put on my heart to share, so I just want to say this. Now, you have to think about it like this. If you are an empath, a true chosen one, and you know you have a good heart, remember, everybody who says they're a chosen one and divine is not divine. Some people could just be repeating something or think that they're divine or trying to put on the front like they're divine. You gotta think about it like this. If you're a true chosen one, and God put you here on this earth for a reason, to be an example, to spread a message or whatever, for him to give you messages and you to spread to the public. And you know you're a good person, you know you have a good heart, and you keep on going through stuff like people are coming at you left and right, left and right, left and right. Everywhere you go, people are following you, and people are lying on you, and especially after you leveled up. And after you change, nobody says anything. Everybody is silent. Everywhere you're going, you're getting backstabbed. People are coming acting like they're cool with you or whatever, and your intentions are pure, and then they're backstabbing you, and they know you have a mission to do down here. You gotta think about it like this. That doesn't sound strange to y'all. I mean, just really think about it. If you're a good person, and you know you have a good heart, and God has awakened you to the truth, and everybody turns their back on you, and people start acting funny, doesn't that kind of like make you, and you know, this is only if you know you're genuinely a divine person, and you know you have a good heart, and you know you don't mean nobody no harm after your awakening. That doesn't seem like these people really secretly work for the devil and they're trying to convince you that you're not who you say you are. Think about it, because it's just like some things I just really be looking at on a whole nother level after so many backstabs, betrayals, tarot readers acting like they cool and turn around lying on you, and then doing readings about divine masculines. I'm sorry, doing readings about karmic masculines, talking like they liars and they be the main ones hating and stuff like that. All of that is just meant to make you doubt yourself, to make you, and those are the enemies. Anybody who sits up there and lies on the divine person or work in cahoots to try to stop them. Especially, this is another thing, and the tarot reader told me this long ago, this is where I got this from too. She was like, somebody wants you to think nobody's listening, and if you keep on putting porn box in somebody's comment section or whatever to control the views, or you're controlling the views, it's like, if that person, if you have to think about it like this, if a person is just crazy or out their mind or delusional, or they're not really making an impact or nobody's listening, why would you go out your way to constantly keep on messing with the views? Why would you deduct them? Why would you constantly stalk them? Why would you monitor them 24/7? Why would you lie on a person? The only reason why you would lie to discredit a person is because you know that person is the truth. So that's just something to think about. It's a couple of readers, like when I first got into the tarot world or whatever, I was like, wow. And because it's like I had a lot of questions, and it was so much silence, and everybody was switching up, and I found out a lot of stuff. And it was a whole bunch of readers that I used to just watch, and I would share on my page, and then I would add to what they say. And I told you guys a lot of the times that I share stuff, not just readers, but I share people's videos on my page just to either add to what I say, or so you know I got this from them first, or just in general. Not everybody I share that they said it first or whatever, but it's just, I'm not like no competitive type person. If I see somebody online doing the same thing as me, and they spend some real raw truth, and I feel like they're a genuine person, in my mind, I just be like, wow, and I'll admire them, and I'll be like, they doing their thing. It's no way I go to somebody or see somebody being a truther, revealing the deception of Satan, and I'm like, they think they all lit. Or make up a lie on them. The only way I would do something like that is if I was a devil. So you really got to think about that. Like I said, what really shocked me is like, it didn't shock me, but when it first happened, I was just like in disbelief. Why are they doing it? Because those people know how powerful you are, and they don't want you to know how powerful you are. Because when you truly tap into how powerful you are, you can call judgment on a lot of people or whatever. Especially if you're a true chosen one of God, you have the power to call judgment over your enemies. or whatever. Because anybody that I told you how God feels about people that sit up there and they envy other people, just sit up there, especially when God is using them, because those are not God's people. It's a clip I did the other day, of the Passion of Christ, and it was like, "Are you the King of the Jews?" or something he said, and he was like, "You think if this was my world, my people would have handed me over so easily? No, these are not your people. People that sit up there and they, especially, and this is why I get so strongly on the readers. People who can remote view, which meaning they can see you, close their eyes, meditate, whatever, because I looked it up, and they can see you when you're not around, or they can look back into your past and stuff like that. And people are supposed to get permission to do stuff like that, or whatever. When you're doing that, you violating spiritual law, especially if you're doing it in a negative way and you lying on somebody, or whatever. And the person that you do that to, they're a different person, they call judgment on you, or whatever. So that's just something to think about. If Jesus came down here or whatever, I just say Jesus because that's what y'all call him. I'm just gonna say Yahshua because that's what I call him. If Yahshua or whatever, God came down here on a mission to save the world. Yahshua came to give the 10 Commandments, and his enemies knew who he were, and they sat up there and lied. He's not the real Messiah or whatever. He's not the real, but they knew who he was. You know how much strong judgment that is for that, and you just sit up there and you lied. You know the truth. But you sitting up there lying or whatever and putting on the front like you really a divine person. I mean, come on, man. It's like people, the only reason why people do stuff like this is because they don't know the seriousness behind it. They sit up there and they just think that they're hating it or whatever. Because if you really knew spiritual laws or whatever, the laws of karma, universal laws of God, then you know you're not supposed to do stuff like that because it's repercussions. Even with earth angels, it's like I could sit up here and talk all day and be like, don't do magic spell work on anybody that's really, really bad. Don't do no... I could sit up there and do all that. But if I get online and I'm talking about all this deception and stuff and I go in the background and I see another truth online and I'm jealous of her or whatever, and I go and do a death spell or I do something to stop her views, I'm going to be held accountable for that too, because it's like I'm portraying like, oh, I'm a chosen person of God, and it'll be like I'm portraying I'm a chosen person of God, but I'm doing negative stuff again. Come on, man. I told God, if God kicks Satan out of heaven for hating or whatever, and he can't come back, and we know if whatever he did, it was unforgivable. That means that if you have hate in you and you're envious of other people, then that means that you have traits of Satan or whatever, and you're a follower of him. You're just pretending to be divine, because true people of God, they don't act like this. So there's just something to think about. It's just certain people. It's like when you get backstabbed so much, you just expect it. It don't even surprise you. I just be shaking my head and laughing at people because they don't even know the seriousness of, just people just do silly stuff. And the way I am, like, if I see somebody and they saying something silly, I just have to respond. I'm just being, especially if it's like online or something like that, I have to respond. So in order for me not to even let that get in my energy, I just don't watch it no more. So when you don't hear me responding to people, it's like because I'm not watching them no more. I think a final straw for me was, it's like so many tarot readers have done it, lying, blah, 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 blah. It's a tarot reader I used to go to, Cheryl, on my page all the time. I really thought she was cool. She lied several times. It's like they do stuff like that because it's kind of like they know certain people are watching you and they want to get a reaction out of you, but they do it subtle. Like the first thing she did, it was more than one, but this one tarot reader was like, that I really liked or whatever. I used to like, she was like, and one reason, just like talk shots, but the real reason that made me stop watching her was the other day she was like, one of you guys got molested by your stepbrother in the past, and it really had an impact on you when you're using drugs or whatever, and I don't judge anybody and blah, blah, blah. But you sit up there acting like you're a divine person of God, and you sitting up there lying on somebody. And I know it's like they do it subtle, and then that's not the first time she did a couple of more times. But it's like, so when you do stuff like that, then you already know that you're not on the team of light or whatever. You already know that you work for Satan, you work for Lucifer. You're just portraying, like, and that's fine if you want to do that or whatever. That's your karma, but don't lie on the divine person. And you can, but just know that you're going to get karma for it. There's no way that God will ever lift you out and take you away from sin and using you for a major purpose. And then your enemies there to do. And then another thing, you're responsible for people who believe that or whatever. Anybody who sits up there and believes, when you purposely, intentionally lie on somebody, and people are believing and listening to that or whatever, then you already know you have to face judgment for that. So that's just something to think about. A lot of people that are evil and into the craft and stuff like that, they be thinking that I'm sorry, the dark part of the craft, they be thinking that they're too powerful and they can do anything else. Because when you have powers like where you can close your eyes and meditate and you can remote view and you're not using it for good or whatever, using it to try to make somebody feel bad, it's like you get to the point where, I'm like God or whatever, and I can do and say, well, it don't work like that or whatever. God gonna put you in your place real quick or whatever, and lay you on your back or whatever, or silence you to the point where you can't even speak no more. It's like God is way more powerful than Satan. And I'm gonna say another thing, like talking about this spill thing. Nobody said nothing or whatever, but anybody talking about, oh, she's a witch, y'all. And this is another reader said this on her channel. You have to think about it like this. In the Bible, didn't it say that God turned the basket or whatever with fish and bread, and it multiplied, and he was able to feed the homeless? Then they said he turned Satan into a snake, and even though that's like, it's like, some of this stuff is just like symbolic or whatever, but that doesn't let you know that God is a magician. I'm not saying a witch, but practicing magic or whatever, the arts or whatever, but in a good way, light workers. And Satan does stuff against people, like his people. They go and they stop divine people, and they try to block their third eye, try to block intuition. They try to take you off your path. That's what Satan does. So that's what his followers do. So if you're doing it, you're trying to block somebody's third eye, you're trying to block somebody's intuition, you're trying to stop them from that path, you already know you work for Satan. This is the same traits. God was able to say, let there be light, and there was light. And he was able to speak things to existence just like Satan can. You ain't nothing, blah, 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 blah. And your words have power. So that lets you kind of know that this is, and people gonna take it and twist it, whatever they want to say it. But there are good light workers and there are bad light workers. No way are we compatible in any way to God or whatever. But as his followers, we have a lot of his traits. We're empaths just like him. We have the power to speak power into somebody's life or take it away. We have power just like our Father, but he's the most powerful of us all, even over the enemy. So that's just something to think about. I'm sorry I'm rushing. I'm trying to hurry up and get out of here, but I just wanted to share that message real quick.
Fucking foolish. For the 9-9, trying to shake the haters off. Go! Shake the haters off. Shake the haters off. Shake the haters off. Go! Shake the haters off. Shake them haters off, 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 shake them haters off. I got 16 bitches calling my name, trying to hit me to some niggas who put salt in the game. Got a message on my celly saying, watch your back. See that hating got them boys trying to play in the jack. See, ain't about the trip, keep it steady. Never leave the crib without it cocked back and ready. Every time I hit the dope spot, keeping it hot. Made a promise to myself to give it all that I got. On the lowdown, never knew